Hello there and welcome to our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV this Tuesday, the 18th day of March 2025. But first, let's have a look at our top stories. In our top stories tonight, President Museveni starts wealth creation tour of Bunyoro sub-region to check success on PDM. The Justice Ministry spent 85.4 billion shillings in cattle compensation in 2024. FDC wants the Electoral Commission to account for violence in Kawempe North by-election. And in sports, the national football team, the Cranes, prepares ahead of World Cup qualifier game against Mozambique. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. On sign language, it is Senyomo Yusuf and I am Rukidi Kijjanangoma. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has kicked off the 4-day wealth creation tour of Bunyoro sub-region by checking on the parish development model successful beneficiaries in the districts of Bulisa, Hoima and Chikube. In Bunyoro, the President is accompanied by the Vice President Jessica Alupo, Prime Minister Robin Nabanja and some cabinet members.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has kicked off the 4 days wealth creation tour of Bunyoro sub-region.
From Bulisa, he would be going to visit another farmer in Chikube and thereafter in Hoima City. And then he will continue with the program. Tomorrow he will be commissioning different projects like the university and the stadium.
In Bulisa district, the wealth creation crusade was convened at Tumusime Titus's home.
Hamilioni emegi nkagura mpunu mukaga zinyaguzire emwe kabansaija
zona zaraga hari siringi miliyoni emu yonka government ya muheiri na wecho nimbasaba mwena musome
we welcome his message. We thank him that he doesn't sit in the State House and remain there, but he's able to go down to the lowest level to be able to interact with the population.
Titus, a resident of Butiaba sub-county, is a parish development model beneficiary who received shillings 1 million in 2023.
We President waitu wa ihanga wekitinisa muno General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni nkumusima muno our program ya tairo ya PDM.
According to the leaders, Titus is among the main successful PDM beneficiaries in Bulisa district.
The livelihoods have changed because there are people in this district, maybe in the issue, had never touched even 1 million shillings. So when you hear the success stories, for example, ladies in the market who used to sell vegetables, tomatoes, and on getting PDM money, their incomes have increased.
Since we received the PDM, at least I'm sure the food security, we are okay.
There are those who have been criticizing the president that how can he visit a farmer who has 2 goats or who has 3 piglets or just a small plantation. Yes, a president is a president for all of us.
The president's visit to Bunyoro is also an opportunity to seek his attention towards some community challenges.
Because the fishers in this district and in this community have been desiring to request the president to be able to present to them or to provide them with the right fishing gears.
With PDM for the fishers, Your Excellency, giving it to household, 1 million each household, Your Excellency, it ends up being, some of them misuse it, some of them end up being fishmongers.
But the original mistake was you people.
In Hoima district, David Irumba hosted the president.
Because I know you are next to God. Yes. Abokuba muzeyi okozire nibihuniriza. Kandi abantu babunyoro bamanyire kimuli otuyire ni yesonga hati amurundi gunu.
Irumba is an established model farmer whose expertise in poultry has not only earned him a name, but money as well.
So that means in 10 days, 25 million In a month, 75 million. In a year, about 900 million net. 900 million shillings net. And where they are heading, they want to be selling 1,200 trays per day.
On this first day of Nyoro sub-region tour, the president also visited Kawempe district to assess the progress of the parish development model program.
The zonal tour is bringing one issue very, very well, that the people of Uganda are embracing the wealth creation.
And because of total peace and security, there is ripe investment climate in our country. And the infrastructure here in Bunyoro is like any other part of the country.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs spent 85.4 billion shillings to pay for domestic arrears, especially compensation for cattle in financial year 2024, which appropriation had not been approved by Parliament and is illegal. Officials had appeared before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament to answer queries in the Auditor General's report on the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs for the audit year ended December 2024.
Officials of Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, led by the Permanent Secretary Robert Kasande, have appeared before the Public Accounts Committee to answer queries in the Auditor General's report year ended December 2024. The chairperson of the committee, Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi, says the entity had a budget of 215 billion shillings and was warranted 205 billion shillings. Issues from the books of accounts, the committee discovered that the entity was appropriated 187 million shillings for compensation, while the statement of appropriation shows 85.4 billion shillings diverted to pay domestic arrears.
Audit is show us the authority for you to having diverted 85 billion.
I never paid all that outside of what was approved. I know that I was paying the current cattle compensations of about 71 billion.
Obligations which have been accumulating, we have to report them as arrears, because every end of year we have to report them as arrears. But since it is a continuous verification, we pay cattle compensation from the current budget, because it is.
Some members of Parliament wanted to know who was in charge for the cattle compensation and also see the documents of those who were compensated.
We are asking the authority of shifting this from 187 million to 85 billion. You didn't budget for domestic areas intentionally and kept this money on other expenses, such that you can just divert it.
What we have about cattle compensation is a real hoax, and I would wish Mr. Chairman to know who is directly in charge.
Chivumbi said the entity offended the Public Finance Management Act, diverting these funds.
I'm not sure that this reporting is correct, and that's why I was asking.
About this reporting, you are throwing an integrity question on the whole of your books of account.
What we are looking at, so to pay the 743 billion, the ministry was appropriated a budget of 187 million. So, sir, we acknowledge that there was a mishap in how we paid. These other expenses that we paid comprise exactly the same items, which is cattle compensation.
And along outstanding court awards and compensation, the Auditor General observed that 71 human rights awards, court awards, ex gratia and compensations ordered by courts worth 1.98 billion shillings remained unpaid.
We advertise prior to payment of these court awardees, and we ask that please don't come to our offices soliciting, and that is clear in our advert,
soliciting for payment. I don't know what has happened. They have not shown up for years. And
Human Rights Commission writes to us and says, this is the award, go ahead and do what? And satisfy the award. But the information, the details of the complainant, we do not have it. That's that you have put in the papers, on radios, calling people to pick their compensation. And you are still affirming the same.
Yes, I'm affirming.
You could even...
It is small money, but we are looking at 40 million here, 34 million. To a common person, that is a lot of money. 9 million, 11 million, that is a lot of money. For me, Chair, I would request that he gives us the whole list of these details.
Other members of the committee wondered how a person with an award of 800 million failed to pick his or her money.
800 million, 2018, and man is there, he has never bothered to pick it.
And the Chair, you should note that it's
and another one has got an award of 535 million.
Chair, you should also
and that money is lying out there, ready for payment. Somebody is not proactive on that amount of money.
There was also an underpayment of pensions and gratuity of 67 million shillings. I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Farid and Gloria, thank you so much for that story there. Now, the Forum for Democratic Change, FDC party, has poked holes in the recent concluded Kawempe North by-election. In a press conference in Kampala, FDC President Patrick Oboy Amuriat wants the Electoral Commission to account for the state of the by-election. Now, this follows NRM party decision to petition the results in court after the National Unity Platform NUP party candidate Elias Nalukola was announced winner. However, in an exclusive interview, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Chris Baryomosi, defended the Electoral Commission on allegations of mishandling the elections.
I'm getting my water from there. I can't run away. What have I done?
The concluded Kawempe North by-election was marred with violence, not sparing journalists.
If there was violence, who caused it? Whether it is the opposition or the government and state agents, this should be known and the appropriate action should be taken and will be taken.
Since then, authorities have remained tight-lipped.
This deployment was made so that people can freely be able to go to the polling stations without the fear of anybody intimidating them. So it was to prevent the intimidation which we know happens in the opposition strongholds like Kampala and other areas.
The NRM has capitalized on the menace to contest the results.
For instance, there was a destruction of election materials. The ballot boxes, you saw the ballot papers being destroyed.
The NRM calls for a forensic audit into the elections in a projected court redress.
It is in the interest of democracy, it is in the interest of Ugandans.
The Forum for Democratic Party President Patrick Oboy Amuriat disagrees with the NRM move to contest the results, asking that the choice and will of the people of Kawempe be respected accordingly.
We are not challenging the outcome of the election. There is nowhere to start from in challenging his outcome. You all saw what happened with the military. You saw how boxes were broken. Or didn't you see because you were chased?
Amuriat condemns the brutal actions of the security agencies, including JAT and the UPDF, that they undermine democracy.
And you can imagine the number of votes that were not counted. They didn't stop the election, even with all those flaws.
However, FDC doubts in the results of their candidate Sadach Muchibi, who collected 239 votes, making him fifth in the race, won by NUP candidate Elias Nalukola Luyimbazi.
And you want to convince FDC, a party of 20 years, that we, an area of the opposition where we have structures, that we got 259 votes 239, totally impossible, totally ridiculous.
Despite concerns, the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, defends the Electoral Commission on allegations of mishandling the by-election.
So, we'll take the Electoral Commission to court for being irresponsible. You all know that in a campaign, candidates incur expenses, time is lost, money is lost, and we just cannot wait to issue our bill of costs to the Electoral Commission once that ruling is made.
The Electoral Commission did its best. In my view, they did not interfere with the running of elections. They deployed their electoral officials, and the electoral officials did their work. But any interference, any disruptions, I think came from other actors, not the Electoral Commission. So I would not blame the Electoral Commission per se in my view.
Kayen Faith, Viola Nabasa, for ABC.
Now, the Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has cited the need for government to adequately provide resources, particularly financial support to the Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited to ensure the timely operation of the national grid. Now, this call comes at a time when Umeme is set to hand over operations in 2 weeks, and the Ministry of Energy seeks almost $200 million to facilitate the buyout process. The remarks were made during a meeting between the Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources and the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. We have more in this story.
Effective April 1st, 2025, the Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, UEGCL, will take over the responsibility for the national power supply from Umeme Limited, which has managed the system for over 20 years. However, there are concerns about whether UEGCL will be able to maintain a reliable power supply.
Currently, we are dealing with issues to do with the preparedness of the ministry, viz. UEDCL, to handle the transition from Umeme, the grid manager at that time, to Hole to UEDCL.
They should emphasize on the rehabilitation of the dilapidated infrastructures. Whenever rains comes in, power goes off. UEDCL should build trust from the population.
The Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, reassured that with the necessary resources allocated, UEGCL will be capable of ensuring effective service delivery.
The number of times I've submitted to Cabinet our request to build the capacity of UEDCL to be able to handle, where we submitted request of $70 million every financial year for 5 years. And what we are going to receive, the $50 million, is the first intervention since I submitted my request to Cabinet. So, colleagues, the trust that our shadow minister has been demanding from UEDCL is answered by the CAPEX that we want for UEDCL, because it's a tool that Umeme has been using, and we want to perform better than Umeme in terms of service delivery, but also in terms of affordability of power.
The ministry is still under pressure to pay Umeme an estimated $200 million for the buyout. Nankabirwa says the government should allocate the necessary funds.
We are talking about estimates. Nobody can give you vivid figure now. We are talking in terms of estimates. Why? Because much as Umeme's concession is ending on 30th March, 1st April UEDCL will take over. But this transition period requires management of situations as they come.
During the meeting with the Parliamentary Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, chaired by Soroti City East MP Herbert Ariko, MPs cautioned the ministry to be transparent regarding the buyout process and avoid false hopes.
When they say, like when we were in RAPEX, they said all workers will be taken over by the receiving entity. But the receiving entity may not have capacity to receive all of them. So isn't it good that you tell people that this one has been a private company, this is almost a public company, your dealings with your workers has ended. This is not a takeover, neither is it a merger. It is a new setup. So we need to be very clear on this thing, Mr. Chairman.
UEDCL has been packaging itself. I think if we give them the confidence that they need, communicate in line with what their processes are following now, we will be able to see this vessel land well.
Rebecca Nantongo, Gloria Butabinji, Parliament.
A Minister of State for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has directed residents occupying land on Sango Bay estate be compensated to prevent delays in the coconut plantation project by Bidco oil refineries. The minister was visiting a 26,500 hectare estate in Chotera district to assess progress on the plantation.
The minister was received by Chotera Resident District Commissioner Apollo Mugome and GIS Senior Manager Darumaya before embarking on a tour of the plantation. Led by Bidco representatives Ignatius Tumwesiga and Rahadian Yuda, Dr. Mayanja inspected different sections of the project, coconut seedlings, plantations, and houses belonging to residents awaiting compensation. Sango Bay land was initially leased in 1933 to Sango Bay Estate Limited, but the presence of residents on the land later disrupted progress. In 2020, the government partnered with Bidco oil refineries to develop a coconut plantation and establish a refinery.
I've just been informed that now Karangala is the second biggest, largest economy in this country. Here, Sango Bay is 4 times the size of Karangala. So Sango Bay is soon going to be the first economy in this country.
However, disputes arose over land ownership, with some reports claiming land grabbing. Chotera District Chairman Chintu Kisekulo dismissed the allegations. Dr. Mayanja affirmed that the government had legally secured the land and displayed the official land title.
Certified, guaranteed by Act Section 59 of the Registration of Titles Act. You know, good against the whole world. Certified true copy. Why I go to teacher you can challenge it. Tewali gweraga ntino mulimu etitle y'omutomulala abaliwo nga tebanaba kusasulwa. We counted them. I think they are 740 something. Properly counted, one by one, house by house. Abataliwo given time kubanga ntuyatula wano. After that, report approved, displayed.
On behalf of the investor, Ignatius Tumwesiga revealed that over 1,800 farmers are already prepared to plant coconuts.
Not by people.
Crispus Arinitwe, Jamil Sekaja, UBS News.
Minister of State for Environment Beatrice Anyuar has called for more funding to facilitate enhanced representation and dedication facilities for Uganda's delegation at the Conference of Parties. Uganda's participation at COP29 was hindered by the absence of a Uganda pavilion and delegation office, urging that deliberate efforts address these hiccups. Dokas Chimono reports.
Thank you, sir.
For years, Uganda has been an active participant in different annual conferences of parties on climate change, including the most recent COP29 held in Baku City, Azerbaijan.
Parties every year get together to make decisions that affect or will help us reduce on our the impacts of climate change.
On Tuesday, the Minister of Water and Environment, through the Climate Change Department, held a post-COP29 event with a view of taking stock of what Uganda as a country secured and missed.
There were some breakthroughs, like for Article 6, which is the carbon trading. The rules for Article 6 on trading in carbon was done. So for us as a country, we are getting ready. We have regulations, and we are going to prepare, and we are preparing adequately and guiding the country how to go about the carbon trade.
Uganda secured £44 million UK financial support for modern energy cooking services program through the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development.
UK announced £44 million for the modern energy cooking services program, and Uganda is a beneficiary through the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. While Uganda made significant strides, however, at COP29, our presence was hampered by the lack of a dedicated Ugandan pavilion and delegation office. Friends who were found scattered everywhere. I was there as head of delegation, but I could not get my Ugandan team.
The effectiveness of Uganda's climate agenda relies on fostering strong partnerships, making strategic investments, and ensuring ongoing engagements at both national and international levels.
Where you have your own pavilion and delegates office, you do quite a lot. You have bilateral meetings, you're able to mobilize partners, you're able to discuss and, come up with deals.
Just imagine my president really attending, and then he has no office to meet his people. So this time we should really do better. You need to have the finances available.
Meanwhile, 10 national negotiators have been appreciated for championing Uganda's advocacy for climate justice.
One day you will be a full minister, not only the shadow. Take the first step, the rest will follow. Congratulations.
This was held on the sidelines of the ongoing 8th Uganda Water and Environment Week at the Line Ministry's headquarters in Luzira. Dokas Kimono, UBC News.
The Ministry of Water and Environment and the Global Center for Climate Mobility has launched the Blueprint, a plan guiding national development on climate-induced migration. The Commissioner Climate Change at the Ministry of Water and Environment, Margaret Atieno, was talking about issues around Mount Elgon region.
Many communities worldwide are grappling with the consequences of shifting weather patterns, rising sea levels, and extreme weather events.
The blueprint is a result of consultation with all the stakeholders, and then also with the government departments, with the UN agencies, with the civil societies, and the affected communities in the cattle corridor, in the landslide areas, and also in the low-lying areas in various parts of the country. So I think this is the right time for the blueprint to start to come in and help in the implementation of the interventions that we may come up with to save the people who are affected by climate mobility.
Government, alongside
The Global Center for Climate Mobility is taking significant steps to understand the impact of climate change on migration and to create policies that address these challenges.
Also key to note is that the National Climate Change Act 2021 mandates all districts, district local governments and lead agencies to formulate their climate action plan based on available technical and financial resources. But also, the Climate Change Act states that the Minister of Finance should provide funding for these climate change action plans.
The main aim of the blueprint is to provide a clear, structured approach to addressing the challenges posed by climate mobility.
Yeah, the different groups or sectors or portions of people who are included in the blueprint have got their particular or specific link to climate change, and the climate change affects them, causing migration in various aspects. So each of these groups will be catered for in respect to their sector, their geographical location, and the impacts of climate change in that area, which causes migration.
The study focused on identifying vulnerable regions and communities in Uganda, assessing how they are affected by climate change.
We've launched last year a communities climate adaptation facility, which is now being piloted in Fiji, one of our partner countries in the Pacific. And we really hope to bring this also to Uganda and to see how we can partner with others who are also looking at, localizing financing basically for climate action. That's very much part of our agenda. We work across different world regions. So Uganda is one of our champions in Africa, and the Commissioner mentioned that you have taken political leadership also with the Kampala Declaration. And we do want to see, how can we support Africa as a champion globally? What can African countries do together to address some of these issues?
The blueprint will assist in preparing the country for future challenges and help government in as part of Uganda's broader climate action plan. A key aspect of the blueprint is the National Adaptation Plan, which will help communities adapt to the impact of climate change.
We need to have adaptation planning to help our communities respond to emergency displacement and trapped populations. We need to have ambitious development choices that could reduce vulnerability in spite of our mounting climate changes.
The development of the blueprint was a result of extensive consultation with various stakeholders. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
We'll now take a short break and return with much more.
Uganda fire! Rendiba fire! Our border fire! Mtini fire! Ramone fire! Fire, fire! Chileka banda fire! Prince fire! Barara Masaka fire! Our taxi fire! Fire, fire!
Uganda fire! Buy your tickets through MTN Momo on *165*20# and come support Uganda Cranes.
Together our passion and sport is unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good. With MTN. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good. With MTN. Ononye ekifu kya mulembagirawo akazanyo ka spin for cash kakano kaguse ku mutimbagano ku nusu bitano 10 n'enkumi zokka osobola okucacanja wonna wooli tosigala mabega wewandiise ku www.nationallottery.go.ug naawe ofuna omukisa ogw'okwewangulira kavu wa buwumbi 2 obwa siringi za Uganda. Kati n'olinda ki? Sanya spin for cash wonna wooli essaawa yonna.
Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery. Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What do we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. Moving on now, the Muslim community in Butambala has received a presidential Ramadan package initiative, a gesture of love and sharing spearheaded by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni through his office. Take a watch.
During the holy month of Ramadan, underscoring a spirit of compassion, peace and unity. The distribution exercise led by the Hongera Sana organization under the office of the president also spreads messages of economic empowerment and distancing youth from violence.
We have come with a message of PCVE, that is preventing and countering of violent extremism. As you are aware, Butambala district has got a number of Muslim youth who are engaged somehow in criminal activities. There is a lot of thefts going on. There are so many rogues going on in this area. We have asked imams to disseminate the message of peace and the tranquility, such that everybody is peaceful.
The Muslim community of Butambala appreciated the president's donation.
Very privileged, and we would like to thank the president for thinking about the Muslims of Butambala. Personally, I'm also the coordinator of patriotism in Butambala, Mpigi and Gomba, and I further would like to entrench my cry out to fellow Muslims to observe the virtues of Ramadan. Ramadan is a month of peace. Ramadan is a month of harmony. Ramadan is a month of collaboration. Ramadan is a month of relation rebuilding and repairs. So as we take the president's iftar, let us also value these virtues of Ramadan.
This act continues to other parts of the country.
We are here, one, to mobilize the Muslim community, especially the leaders, one, to embrace peace and to embrace the different government initiatives and programs.
Suzanne Nabo, good day. Michael Bakablindi for UBC News.
A new approach to climate action that links menstrual hygiene to environmental sustainability is emerging. The initiative promotes hands-on skills and tree planting. And as Uganda joins the world to mark World Environment Day due June 5th, Caritas Uganda and Caritas Denmark want young people to engage in eco-friendly alternatives targeting disposable menstrual products. Sandra Kahonde reports.
Although students are tagged to textbooks, the trend seems to be changing to involve learning practical skills. They are making reusable menstrual pads and liquid soap to tackle environmental degradation.
I can make my own liquid at home by using the simple things that they have told us.
In 2023, we had a similar project called Young Agents for Change, and in some sense we have copied it, but now we have focused on gender equality, quality education, and also responsible consumption and production.
The initiative is a response to the growing concern over plastic waste from disposable sanitary pads.
Caritas Uganda, together with Caritas Denmark, got a call from the Ministry of Finance in Denmark and funded a program under Globus that is looking at climate change together with menstrual hygiene. How does menstrual hygiene affect climate change? Now, if menstrual hygiene, when you're in your period, you use a pad. If you dispose it wrongly, it clogs the waterways. If you dispose it in a funny way, it affects the climate in the long run.
That's not how you build up society. If a woman is not able to get a pad, that's not how we do it. We should help the young women.
That I've learned, like they use cotton, they put cotton, you can wash it, you can use it more than once. So I've got an experience.
The initiative also incorporates environmental conservation through tree planting.
Personally, I look at a tree as a tube, an oxygen tube. Once you cut a tree, you have cut part of my tube to breathe. Therefore, we are planting these trees and telling the students, please look after these trees. Laudato Si, care for Mother Earth. We are making a call. We are approaching World Environment Day. We are telling the young students, please, you can have a fruit tree planted at home.
For the school administration, these activities enforce the curriculum, providing students with skills beyond the classroom.
We have managed to teach the children how to make lid rinse stop, how to use reusable pads, and how to keep themselves clean and hygienic, especially during the menstrual period.
I'm advising like all the schools, even some my fellow students, that if you know about it, educate other people about the menstruation, because it's normal. Can you imagine even an elephant goes through menstruation?
From menstrual hygiene to tree planting, the journey to sustainability sets with powerful steps.
My thoughts on reusable pads are that they are a great idea and invention for climate change. We waste less, and there's a possibility to reuse them as much as we can, and it's also very accessible. So I can make them, my friends can make them, anybody can make them, and it's like I said, accessible, and it also creates less use of plastic and
menstruation cycles, and helping them to make what's it called, environmentally friendly pads, reusable pads.
Uganda will mark World Environment Day on June 5th, but with an eye to projects that look at climate action, forests and carbon emissions.
Let's purchase bins for the schools. They are labeled in colors where you can put the metallic, glass and so on, then the rotting, then the papers.
Because in the beginning rubbish would be thrown everywhere. So, but at least with that in place and with other people coming to help us, like now Caritas Uganda and Caritas Denmark, they've given us those bins, and they've even provided us with pedal bins for putting in the used up pads.
Sandra Kahonde, Robert Katamba, News Tonight.
Interesting. There are eco-friendly alternatives targeting disposable menstrual products, and of course that initiative will actually contribute to keeping the girl child in school. Sandra, thank you so much for that story. To another interesting one now, and in the 19th century, the idea that blind individuals could ever use phones seemed unimaginable. That the visually impaired were largely reliant on Braille for education and technology, and it seemed out of reach. But as we hear in this story, that seems to be changing for the better.
In June last year, the Uganda Communications Commission, in partnership with Suzy Water Harvesters, launched an innovative blind assistant software in schools. Before this software, learning was a huge challenge. Listening to notes, engaging in practical lessons, and learning alongside other classmates became a challenge to many visually impaired pupils.
So we partnered with Suzy Water, who developed the application and did the scaling in 6 schools. 3 are primary, 3 are secondary. They've given devices to these pupils and students. They've also trained them on how to use these devices.
So far, more than 700 students have benefited from this revolutionary program and enrolled across different regions of Uganda.
Those phones, they helped us in learning. We can go on Google and we search work.
What we have been doing in the past 6 months is that we have been training visually impaired learners on how to use digital devices, including smartphones and computers. We have so far trained over 750 beneficiaries, including over 300 visually impaired learners. We have given out smartphones free of charge with support from Uganda Communications Commission. We've distributed over 150 smartphones, which are preloaded with blind assistant application.
The Uganda Communications Commission has now extended the program for 6 more months with Suzy Water harvesters in the driving seat. The initiative is changing the way visually impaired learners access education, empowering them with more tools to succeed in an increasingly digital world. Ngabo Amon reporting for UBS TV.
Educationists in Uganda have appealed to government to prioritize mathematics as a subject that plays a pivotal role in promoting sciences. During a belated International Day for Mathematics held in Tororo, mathematicians and engineers, led by Engineer Ziria Tibalwa, the Chief Executive Officer of Electricity Regulatory Authority, ERA, noted that Uganda has mathematicians with capacity to apply it.
The International Day for Mathematics, celebrated every 14th of March, targets improving performances of different countries' science and innovation sectors. In Uganda, the event at Tororo Girls' School was on the theme Mathematics, Art and Creativity.
We connect with you how, why, and what mathematics has made us, and how this mathematics is contributing to solving society's problems.
The celebration started with a marathon from Tororo Girls' School through the municipality. The sector players explained how students and the girl child can progress in sciences.
We are here to talk to the girls and to explain to them in a simpler way that if they purpose and focus, they can achieve and pass excellently mathematics that will lead them to the science, technology, engineering and mathematics careers.
I want you to remember from today onwards that mathematics is the cutting edge of knowledge in the sciences.
Engineer Ziria Tibalwa urged students to ensure they apply mathematics in their practical work.
Be able to add value, use mathematics to solve lifelong real problems. Because if we talk about science, you can't talk about science without mathematics. And if we are talking about transforming our society, especially with the new curriculum for primary and secondary, it is practical.
Paul Wako, the Wasitema University Vice Chancellor, believes that mathematics as a subject could be clearly understood by the learners.
My colleagues who teach mathematics, we have to simplify mathematics. Because mathematics is the most interesting and perhaps one of the simplest subjects, but at times the way we teach it make it complicated.
Kayen Faith Muhammad Yuga for UBC.
The Minister of Education has recently completed a 6-month survey on the state of private schools in the country. The findings of the research have brought to light issues surrounding financial practices within the institutions. We have more in this story.
One of the most alarming revelations is that many private schools are heavily reliant on teachers for funding, with little to no oversight or transparency in how these funds are managed.
We are glad that we are contributing to this process of policy development
and the main deliverable from here, which is the report, helps to be an input in the regulatory impact assessment of the policy that is focused on improving the quality of service delivery in private educational institutions.
A significant concern raised by the survey is that these schools are not remitting the necessary contributions to the National Social Security Fund, which is a legal requirement for all employers in Uganda.
I've been informed that some teachers and some proprietors present here and outside here have not fully embraced the curriculum, and as such still continue to teach the old curriculum. This non-compliance brings with it many challenges, especially during the assessment of learners when they reach the candidate classes, and I think we already saw this when the results were released.
Dr. Ismail Mulinda, a retired director of secondary schools, urged private institutions to accept government regulation or face penalties.
Colleagues, we request you that you will appreciate the ministry, first of all, for convening us and have all our issues raised when even the peace is here.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
A senior education consultant and specialist in physics, Dr. Nicholas Nzala, has advised students offering sciences not to have negative attitude during final exams. He was addressing students of Kyambogo College School during the Education Career Day, where other motivational speakers had input. In the recent years, government decided to make science subjects compulsory to all students in secondary schools and the teachers motivated to do the work.
Look at the topics as a group and try to remember what the teacher told them. It helps them a lot because they reinforce each other's knowledge on each of those areas. Where one is lacking, he's reminded by the other and they pick it up. There are many cases where students find it easier to learn from fellow students than the teachers. So we encourage students to maintain groups and revise in groups, and then attempt questions and bring them to the teachers to look through. It helps a lot.
Kyambogo College School, we expect to have construct a multi-purpose science laboratories, and among the things we are fundraising, we had invited the President of the Republic of Uganda, although he was busy, he didn't come, but he sent the Minister of Kampala. We hope if government can give us support in the construction of a multi-purpose science and ICT center, we hope the teaching of sciences in the college would be very, very successful.
To keep around people who are excelling, figure out how they do it, try to tap as much knowledge as you can from them, and with that you can really improve. And also consistency. When you read for 30 minutes today, don't drop to 20 tomorrow. Continue with the same small efforts, continue putting them in, and in the end they are going to amount to something big, and I think that's that.
Fellow boys, we could cooperate every day. At least you discuss, you share how to read. Also, teachers, endeavor to follow teachers' advice. When a teacher says something, please follow it, because teachers have much experience than us in these things. So you have to follow teachers' experience, and also parents.
The Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Nkozi University, Dr. Christopher Mukidi, has said that a well-developed culture is a source of business for its people. He was speaking during activities to mark the University Cultural Week, exhibiting different cultural practices. Take a watch.
Teso. Why? Because in Teso, we are very peaceful people. We are people who love each other. We are people who are united.
What makes us special is our Malewa, whereby it has brought in very many tourists from abroad.
Both undergraduate and postgraduate. Today we are here to celebrate the culture of different groups with plurality as an essence of the nations and uniting. Importance is to always remind us that we come from different backgrounds, but we must come together and unite and bring.
Join us for a health clinic in celebration of International Women's Day. Forwarded Pamoja Sako in partnership with Red Cross, Nakasero Blood Bank, Action for Health Uganda, Uganda Cares, ASG Hospital, Forum for Women in Democracy, and iDental is organizing a free health clinic on Friday, March 21st in celebration of International Women's Day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Nakawa Grounds opposite Nakawa Market. The clinic will offer essential health services including consultation services, treatment for adult and child medical conditions, blood donation, health education and awareness creation, dental care, provision of sexual and reproductive health, and HIV screening. We encourage the public to support this initiative by spreading the word and bringing those who can benefit from these vital health services. Your health matters. Don't miss out.
Come on, mo pocket, tambula body street, issues are my target. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. I'm in a plantation, but on a global mission, internet ambition, full condition. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. All cash is gone, netagayo kaloni, nigga mukafoni, money in the zone. We are what? Unstoppable. We are what? Unstoppable. We are good.
With you and MTN together, our ambition is unstoppable.
We are what? Unstoppable!
Welcome back. Let's have some business news now. And MTN Uganda, through its corporate social responsibility arm, the MTN Foundation, has donated vocational training equipment to Teens and Tots Neurodevelopment Center in Chira Municipality. The initiative aims to support parents of children with autism and young adults with disability by equipping them with skills to build sustainable livelihood.
By the MTN Foundation's Changemakers initiative, valued at 20 million Uganda shillings, includes industrial sewing machines, baking equipment, digital devices, and soap-making equipment.
MTN Changemakers, you can see it's written all over the board, is an initiative that we started 2 years ago. And the whole objective of MTN Changemakers was to invite the community to share with us the ideas that where they thought that MTN could be able to come and partner with them to be able to create a difference. There are many people who are creating a real difference, addressing tough challenges in the societies that we have, and many times they do not get the support. And sometimes the support you need is not much, right? But the challenge is it's very difficult sometimes for your story to surface amidst all the needs that are there in society.
This initiative provides funding and resources to grassroots organizations working in areas such as economic empowerment, education, and healthcare.
It is not very easy to look after these children, but we appreciate the grandmothers and the mothers who are here doing the wonderful job.
For the past 12 years, the Teens and Tots Neurodevelopment Center provides a specialized education, therapy and vocational training for children with special needs.
The chance that you have given us to contribute to the revision of the national judiciary laws for persons with disability, where autism and many other neurological disorders in Uganda were represented in the revision.
At the same occasion, government commitment to support children with autism was reiterated and confirms at least 5 million shillings for organized groups of 10. With autism still prevalent yet hardly reported by parents, government has been urged to boost remuneration for trainers. Through the Changemakers initiative, MTN Uganda is supporting 25 projects this year with a 500 million Uganda shillings investment.
Sports news now, and the national football team continues with preparations ahead of the World Cup qualifier game against Mozambique. Cranes play this Thursday before hosting Guinea at Nambole. Meanwhile, Cranes skipper Emma Okwi retires from a national team.
Veteran forward Emmanuel Okwi has officially retired from international football, bringing an end to a remarkable career with the Uganda Cranes. Okwi has been absent from the national team since June 2023, when Uganda lost 2-1 to Algeria in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. The experienced attacker balls out with 95 caps and 28 goals for Uganda since making his debut in 2009 under coach Bobby Williamson.
Goal for Uganda! Well, I don't believe it! Okwi scored the goal! Shot. Myers cross over the top, headed into the path.
He was part of the Crane squad at the 2019 AFCON, where he scored against DR Congo and Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, the national football team, the Cranes, continues with training in Egypt ahead of their World Cup qualifier game. Uganda will face Mozambique on Thursday at Cairo International Stadium before hosting Guinea at Nambole Stadium on the 25th of March 2025. Preparing for these matches, Coach Put emphasized the game-by-game approach, acknowledging the intense competition in African football.
Concerning Elio, at the moment when he was injured, he played 26 minutes, then he went out of the field. I had contact with Elio in the night, but it's always very soon to say anything about injuries, or you need 24 hours before you can do a consultation.
With 6 points already in the bag, Uganda Cranes will aim for more points in Cairo of Mozambique and then maximize their home advantage for a strong push in the Group G of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers.
And we finally come to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Senyomo Yusuf, and I am Rukidi Kijjanangoma, wishing you a blessed night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of Nsanje. Here in Nsanje, we are installing the 9th president, that is Dr. Grace Stephen Seriyange, who is taking the mantle from Nsamba Kato, who has been leading 2020 to 2024. One of the interesting things about President Samba is that he has handed over solar panels to 2 schools in Mukono district. An amazing project that they led there. And the other thing that we know about the Rotary Club of Nsanje is the Camping Rotarians that they started a couple of years ago. It has thrived throughout the year, and congratulations to AG Irene now who has done a great job for this club. Today we install the 9th president, and I assure you it's going to be a lovely, lovely function. Why? Because we are taking the leadership to the next level. Dr. Stephen Seryange has also taken the mantle when they have just chartered a club called the Rotary Club of Maya. It is also going to be raining, and we can see from the different speeches later about how easily that was achieved. They're going to do a lot more this year. We shall be able to hear the acceptance speech from Dr. Grace, who is willingly taking the chain from Mr. David Katon Samba. Welcome to the Rotary Moment Show. My name is Carol Chazeka Koza, and I'm happy to be here at the installation of Rotary Club of Nsanji. Enjoy yourself, and I'm sure we're going to enjoy our evening together.
Owekitiibwa has served in different capacities in Rotary. He has ever been a service project director, TRF director. You have seen they have pinned him. Club secretary. Right now he's the club secretary and a PE. He has also attended DCA 3 times. You know, you people have been in Munyonyo. He has attended the Ally Convention in Houston, USA, where he served as Sergeant at Arms. And the next week, he's going in Singapore for the Ally Convention again. This person, none other than Dr. Grace Stephen Seryange. Director of ceremony, I have finished my time.
Ceremonies, and I would like to thank everybody who has come here, and I will give my remarks on schedule. And what I have been requested to do now is to perform what Rotary does every other year in accordance with our constitution. Because our constitution talks about being a leader for 1 year, and then another one takes over. It's now my pleasure to request our incoming immediate past president so that he can have a title of incoming. Otherwise, the outgoing president of this club step forward together with his spouse. Don't mind, you remain the first lady, 2023-2024. You will not have another one in this club. That's the easier way to remain present. Now, I would like to request Owekitiibwa, the Assistant Governor, to also step forward. These are the people who have led us throughout the Hope Creator year. And I want to thank you so much because you have made the year for us to start on the coming year. And I want to thank the Rotary Club of Nsanji for giving you an opportunity to serve. I want to request that we have our gong and our certificate with us here. At this moment, I want to request that you have these ones to your spouse so that she has something to carry. Now, friends, Owekitiibwa, we thank you so much for having served this year. And when it comes to you accepting to serve as an assistant governor, very many of us should take it as a pride. We are honored that at your level, you still come back to serve Rotary. Thank you so much. And congratulations. And I now request that you can resume your seat different from where you were seated. Owekitiibwa has gone to prepare a seat for the outgoing president. Kato. Yes, sir. When we came in here to install you as a president, you told us very many things. this club will live to tell what you did. I was so excited in your statement when you said, if there is not something that is not being done, it is me.